Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody in front of your screens. A very warm welcome from the historical Ehrbarsaal, one of our locations at AMP Vienna. My name is Martina Nell. I'm responsible for the student services at AMP, and I've got the honor to guide you through today's event. I'm going to virtually introduce you, together with my wonderful colleagues, to our institution. Within the next half hour, we are going to talk about the programs and courses we offer, what studying in Vienna is like, how to apply, and so on. But mainly, we want you to know, to get to know our tutors and learn more about their method and approach. You have the opportunity to ask questions via the chat, so please do make use of it. We are going to hold this event in English, but please feel free to ask your questions in German or even Chinese. So who are we at AMP Vienna? AMP stands for Academy of Music and Performing Arts, and we are a conservatory with public status. In German, this is called Konservatorium mit Öffentlichkeitsrecht, which means that we are accredited by the state of Austria to issue diplomas that are approved just as those of public schools and public universities. So we offer 4-year state-approved diploma courses, both towards an artistic and a music education diploma. So you can study artistic major or artistic major in music education. In addition to the diploma courses, there are preliminary studies available, plus a 2-year postgraduate diploma for those people who already hold a post-secondary or tertiary degree. The studies we offer are in classical music, pop, rock, jazz, and in the fields of musical dance and musical theater. Our study subjects cover all modern instruments such as piano, guitar, flute, violin, cello, drums, percussion, bass, just to name a few, and of course singing. Plus, we offer programs in media music and in composition and music theory. In today's webinar, we want to focus on classical music, even though we have a wonderful tutor of the jazz and pop department with us, who is going to talk about the courses for jazz and pop piano. For all participants particularly interested in jazz and pop music, please stay tuned if you also want to learn more about the Jam Music Lab, because after this webinar, we are going to continue with the webinar for the Jam Music Lab University, which starts at 5 p.m. So just stay online under exactly this link if you want to join us afterwards again. Let's talk about the audition process a little bit later. You find all the information you need on our website, amp-vienna.com, and there is a big red button saying apply now. You can't miss it. However, you're welcome to ask your questions in our Q&A section at the end of today's event. And now I'm pleased to hand over to our wonderful tutors and some representatives of our faculty. Every one of them is going to play some music for you and then introducing themselves and talk a little bit about their departments.
Hi, I'm Barbara Auner. I'm a violinist and a teacher in the string department. If you come study here in Vienna, we're going to work individually with your aims and your wishes into the professional way of music.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Paula. It was absolutely beautiful. Hello, greetings out there. My name is Eric Lamb. I am the flute tutor here at AMP, and I'm also the head of the wind, brass, and percussion department. So if you are a wind player, a brass player, or a percussion player, you'll probably, and you decide to join us here in our family, you'll probably see a lot of me. Not only do I run the flute class, which includes weekly lessons, and we come together once a week as a class for a repertoire class, but I also teach improvisation, and I teach the performance class. And in the performance class, all of the woodwind and brass and percussion students come together, and we discuss things such as performance anxiety, audition preparation, and then we play for each other, because we are trying to create an atmosphere in which we are always playing and exchanging ideas. And yeah, I hope you enjoy what you hear, and if you have any more questions, we can talk in the chat afterwards.
It's your turn, then.
Hi, my name is Danny Grissett, and I teach piano, jazz piano specifically, at Jam Music Lab and also through AMP. I'm someone that's very, very passionate about this music known as jazz, and I've had the great fortune to spend a lot of time with some of the greats and the masters of this music, in touring and recording, and also learning in the school setting. And it's something that I take very, very seriously. I feel a bit like I have a responsibility to share and pass along these things that were, given, these gifts that were given to me. And so I try to bring that energy and passion in my lessons, and that's my vibe. Like I'm always looking to inspire and to help you find the joy that I find in the music, and help you realize your potential as a player. So that's a bit about me. I'm going to play a song for you.
Thank you so much for these wonderful musical presentations and your first words about yourself and your departments. I would like to open the Q&A section now. So please hand in your questions into the chat. Some questions already arrived, so I'm trying to sort them and open categories for the different questions. So the first, probably the most important question for all of you is how the entrance exam works. So Alexandra asked, what are the rules for an entrance exam? And Volo, he asked, are the auditions still online and how do they work? I'm checking if there is another question on the entrance exams. No. So concerning the entrance exams, it started actually due to the COVID situation that we started to do the auditions online only. So it is not required for you to be in Vienna in order to do the auditions. And the process is the following: you load up, you do need to upload some important documents, so your all your personal details, a copy of your passport. If you want to apply for a scholarship, this is a topic we can talk about afterwards, you need to upload or it's recommended to upload your CV and a motivational letter. Plus we need your school certificate. And then there is an admission fee of 50 euros. And what we need you to upload is meaningful, so that's what it says on the website, meaningful material about your previous musical work. And then it depends if you want to apply for classical music or if you want to apply for jazz or pop music. If you want to apply for classical music, you need to upload a video or 3 different videos of 3 stylistically different pieces of music of your choice. And for jazz and pop music, it's just necessary to send us 2 different pieces of music. And which ones you choose is totally up to you. There is a jury assessing your musical, input you send us. And then the second step is a personal conversation. And that's nothing to be nervous about. It's just a really relaxed interview with the director and with some of our tutors. It's basically because they want to get to know you. They want to learn about your motivation. They ask you what kind of music do you like, what kind of music do you want to play, what kind of music are you listening to, and mainly because they want to find the right or the most fitting teacher for you, actually. Of course, it's possible to place like a wish for a certain tutor, and we always try to fulfill this wish for you. But usually it works like that during this conversation, because they are experts in that, of course, they can make suggestions for you with which teacher to work. Yeah, that's basically how it works. Some very basic questions concerning the studies. Volo asks, how many semesters is the diploma study, and do I need to, another important question, and do I need to be able to speak German? Well, first of all, the regular duration of the diploma studies is 8 semesters, so if you do it in a regular time, it takes 4 years to complete the studies. And concerning the language, well, we're doing this event here in English today, so there's a lot of willingness to speak English and to explain like the key aspects of all the classes in English, but the general language at AMP Vienna is German, even though your one-on-one lessons with your major teacher can be held in English, of course, but we need to have the majority of classes in German because it's a school according to Austrian right, so to say. From the beginning of the next fall term, we will require you to prove or to send us a certificate of a command of B1 in the German language after the first year of studies. So it's not necessary to have German knowledge at the moment when you apply for the studies, but of course, we have always recommended you to study German during your studies in order to just, feel more in the context. And Austria is a German-speaking country. It's easier to connect with people, but it wasn't necessary for the studies themselves. But now we require you to have a basic command of German, at least after 1 year. Thanks, Seba, for the nice feedback for all of those musical performances. He says, great performance. I think it was for all of you. So, which other questions did we get so far? Yes, also a very important question, very important. Nathaniel asks, can AMP help with the document for residence permit visa? Of course we do. Like, it's not that we do the application for you, but we give you advice, of course. We can give you a list of documents that are usually required by, like the office in Austria is called MA35, so MA35. You will get to know them. So they are quite picky, but we work together with them very well, and we know which people to talk to, and they are really helpful. But they have to be strict. They require certain things, a lot of documents. So we provide you with a list of all the things that are needed, but you have to do the application on yourself. So that's very important. But we can assist you, and so that you know which documents you have to collect and which things you have to look after, and then can hand in the whole package together. That's one thing. Please just drop me a line in the chat if I wasn't able to answer your questions fully. Please just let me know. Seva, there are so many questions. Thanks for sending in so many questions. Seva asks, are the classes held online or on-site? Well, it's the same issue as with the German, actually. So we are obliged to have a certain, or the majority of classes on-site, as we are a school, due to Austrian right. But of course, due to COVID, it was necessary to have a large number of classes online. We are willing to stick to that to a certain extent, so it will be a hybrid thing. So there will be classes online and on-site. You can choose if you want to have your one-on-one lessons in person, so on-site or online. But it's also depending on the COVID regulations by the Austrian government. So we react very quickly if some new regulations come up, because we are a private institution and we have to stick to public, recommendations, of course, but we can, so what's the word for that? Implement, so to say, them the way we think is the most suitable for our institution. So it is possible to, for example, if you are still, let's say in China, for example, and you want to apply, and you can apply online, and you want to start your studies with us online, that's possible, but at a certain point you need to come to Vienna to continue and to do certain subjects, such as like all the group, like Kammermusik, for example, or if it's jazz and pop music, the stage band things. So everything that is done in the group context is, of course, only possible. Not only, but it's better to do it on site.
It's also better for us as teachers to have everyone on site. It was not the easiest of times, but we're very happy that we began again too.
Everybody's happy. Like what we learned during the past month is that it's possible to work with people if you've already seen each other as a teacher and a student before, but we have some cases where the students haven't ever been able to come to Vienna, and they started working online, and that's really difficult, for example, especially in the field of singing, if you cannot, if it's about breathing techniques and stuff, if the teachers can't touch you and can't tell you, like,
there's
it's
a
better
limit.
that way. There's a limit. So to a certain extent, it's possible, and it's really cool working online, but everybody's happy if it stops being online only. Let's put it that way. So many questions. I'm trying to put them in an order that makes sense. So I'm going to wait with the specific questions for the teachers a little bit more, because it's better to clarify. It's good that people have so many questions.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we want to talk to you.
So I just don't want to miss any questions. So Alexandra, just for you to know, because you were asking about the Bachelor and Master program. Thanks for the question, but we are going to cover the Bachelor and Master program issues afterwards when we talk about GEM University. So it starts at 5 p.m. Now we talk about the diploma courses at AMP Vienna. So there is one question concerning the preliminary studies by Juan Pablo Esteban. Thank you, gracias for the question. So the preliminary studies is a one-year program if you stick to the regular duration, and it's if your artistic, how do you say, knowledge is not enough yet for the regular diploma course. So this means mainly working on your instrument, on your major instrument, techniques especially, thank you, yes, and it includes also oral training and basic music theory. So it's only 3 subjects included in this preliminary course. Sorry that it takes so long between the questions, but it's really a lot to read. Yeah, maybe another basic question which has to do with the surroundings of the study, so the living in Vienna. Nathaniel asks, does AMP have a dorm for a student or any recommendations? Thank you for this question too. Actually, living in Vienna is like you have a huge number of possibilities. There are certain or a big number of student dormitories. 2 of them are located right next to Gasometer B, which is the location where the jazz and pop music classes are held. The classical music classes are held in this wonderful building here. So we are at Mühlgasse, which is in Vienna's 4th district. So that's maybe something I could explain like as a basic information. We have 3 different locations at AMP Vienna. As I said, the jazz and pop music classes are held at Gasometer B, which is it's in Gasometer Music City actually, which is our campus for jazz and pop. Mühlgasse, the place we are right now, it is located in the 6th district of Vienna, pretty close to Naschmarkt actually. And there is another, no, it's the 4th district, right? Sorry, I'm confused. Yeah, I'm totally confused. Sorry for that. So it's the 4th district in a very beautiful and lively neighborhood. It's like close to Freihausviertel, also close to Naschmarkt. And on the other side of Naschmarkt is our locations for the musical department. So for the musical department at Maria-Hilfer-Straße in Vienna's 6th district. Yeah. And so you have a huge number of platforms offering accommodation in general, not only for students. So a very popular way to find accommodation is to search for, that's a very important thing actually to know, or a very helpful thing to know, to search for a WG, which is written WG. This means like shared flat in German. So if you search for WG, WG Vienna, you find like a number of offers where you can just share flats with whoever. But of course, if you just drop us a line afterwards or contact us in general, you can always get recommendations from us on how to find your accommodation in Vienna. And we have special discounts at those 2 dormitories at Gasometer for our students. Yes, a number of questions concerning the deadline. How long is the deadline? Is there a deadline for online application? Well, actually, you can apply. Like, it's best to apply by the end of June, but you can apply until the semester starts. So that's possible at the moment. Oh, I think let's start with the content question, so to say. Somebody asks, let's start with Barbara. Oh, where was the question? Sorry. I know that it was a violin question, but where is it now? Okay. Alexandra asks, on which level of playing the violin shall I be to start an education at AMP?
Well, required, as Martina said here, would be that you play 3 different pieces from different periods. So I cannot define without listening to you what would be the level, but something, if you could play a Mozart piece, a Mozart concerto, for example, or which is from the classical period, some Bach, for example, Baroque piece, or well, an etude is always good. Yeah, to bring that shows your something that shows your technical skills, I would say.
Thank you, Barbara. And another question for Eric, asking, what is the repertoire of the flute program in the first 2 years of studies?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you for that question. It's very much contingent upon what your goals are. And that's something I'm very keen on, is in the first year, really having open and honest conversations about where you see yourself musically. Because I feel it's very important to, not only in the first 2 years, really sort of hone in on your technique. I'm sort of a technique fanatic from my training, my French flute training. But I think it's very important that we sort of tailor your repertoire to what your goals are. I don't think it's necessary for a person to spend hours on playing orchestral excerpts if you have no interest of playing in an orchestra. Yeah, and I feel strongly also that based upon like how my experience as a student, I kind of want to change that. That education is not a cookie cutter for every flute student. There are of course things that I hold very dear, like if you're a flute player and you know Tafel Gobert scales, I find those very useful in all aspects of music making, and particularly in flute playing. But again, it's very much contingent upon what your interests are musically. But lots of scales if you study with me.
Thank you, Eric. So there's a question which I could answer, of course, but I want to hand on to Danny. Can I take a jazz piano course while studying at AMP?
Well, yes. That was easy. Actually, I already have one student from AMP, so I know that to be true.
Cool. There's a very interesting question, thank you for that one. It asks, can I combine studying the flute and having one more major? For example, classical vocal in AMP. Yes, of course, that's possible.
Yes, please. That sounds very cool.
Yeah, that sounds very cool. The only thing is, we are a private institution. We haven't talked about the tuition fees yet. There would be an additional fee to pay for the second major. But it's possible, of course. It's very welcome if you want to do so. Ayosa Veo, that's your name according to the chat. You started a question but didn't finish it. It says, does a preliminary, and then it doesn't continue. So please hand in your question again. There was one question I missed actually, but oh yes. Somebody asked, do we have to play the piano for apply to singing? Well, actually, there is a second instrument you're going to take during the studies, which is usually the piano, but it's not mandatory to choose the piano as your second instrument. So I think it's not necessary to prove your piano skills when applying for a singing course. I hope this answers your question. And the repertoire for vocal. So there's a really specific question somebody sends in. He or she, it's Santi, says, I haven't received a formal music training, but I have a piano tutor and I can play fantasy, impromptu, or revolutionary etude, among others. Would that be enough level to enter the preliminary? So we do not have any a classical piano tutor here at the moment, unfortunately, but I think I can answer this question and say it's I mean, for the preliminary course, for sure, and it's not that much about, especially for the preliminary course, it's not that much about what you can already do. I mean, of course, to a certain extent, but it's much more that we can see your potential. And if you enter the preliminary course, I mean, that's why you're doing the preliminary course, so we can work specifically on your, whatever it needs for you to be able to enter the regular diploma course. Oh yes, there's also an audition, because that's the second question that came in now. It requires also an audition for the preliminary studies, yes. How is an applicant considered to get a scholarship? That's a really good question, a very important one. Actually, you can apply for a scholarship just along with your regular application. So there is a checkbox where you just say, yes, I want to apply for a scholarship. And then our jury judges, I mean, it depends on your artistic skills, so to say. There's a scale, how do you say, there's a certain number of points you can achieve, and the higher you are on that scale, the more likely it is that you get a scholarship. That's how it works, basically. You find all the information on our website, so there are different kinds of scholarships for beginners and for students who have already studied 1 or 2 semesters with us. So please look it up there, because we have different tuition fees for EU students and non-EU citizens. So there are also different scholarships for those 2 groups. And you also find the deadlines for the applications online, of course. Another question for Danny. Danny, can you please tell what is important for you as a teacher during the studies? And another one for you.
Okay.
No, I ask you to answer the answer,
Okay.
the first one.
Well, what's important for me is that the student is very motivated. I do my best to bring the energy and motivate you as a student. However, it's important that it works both ways, you know. And I'm not the type to be kind of the police for certain things that you should already be doing, so that we could focus our lesson more on other things or concepts that we're trying to get to. So I would say that's the most important thing for me, is that you have a sense of self-motivation to do the things, the basic things that you'll need in order to get to some of the other things we're doing in the lesson. So.
And the second question fits to that first one perfectly. Someone asks, what repertoire will I learn during my first chess piano semester? So I think this will totally depend on...
Yeah, it would depend on where you are in terms of your understanding of harmony and scales and forms and things like this. But, you know, definitely at the beginning of most of my lessons, I make sure that you're grounded in the blues form, because that's very much one of the pillars of the music. So that's definitely something you can expect. If you are comfortable with that, then there's a lot of different directions we can go, you know. But the basics are important to kind of establish first, because everything, you know, with this music, it's very much, you know, you're building something, and if your foundation is not shaky, then everything that you learn will take twice as long, you know, that you try to learn. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Another very specific question for you, Barbara. Yeah. Somebody asks, I've just learned the violin for 6 years, and now I'm playing La Lo Symphonie Espagnole. Is it enough for me? Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I can stop the question right here.
First of all, yes.
I read it out until the end. Is it enough for me to apply for a diploma study at AMP?
Definitely is enough. Yeah. Let's get together and speak about that. Yes.
So the only thing to say is apply now. So I hope I've read out all the questions. There seems to be no other questions coming in. Thank you very much for sending in so many really interesting and important questions. If whatever comes up, you can, I mean, this was the perfect opportunity to get to know some of our teachers. Our staff at the administration is much easier to reach because that's our job. You can reach us anytime at office@amp-vienna.com. You find our names, you find our numbers if you want to give us a call. Find everything online. Please don't hesitate to contact us, ask further questions. For the moment, I think this was it. Is there anything any one of you wants to add?
Just apply.
Yes.
So all of them
Join us.
and all our other teachers and tutors are looking forward to receiving your applications. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon or this morning if you're, for example, in China at the moment. And we are very much looking forward to hopefully seeing you soon in Vienna. Thanks a lot. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody in front of your screens. A very warm welcome from the historical Ehrbarsaal, which is one of our locations at Jam Music Lab. My name is Martina Nell. I'm responsible for the student services at Jam Music Lab, and I've got the honor to guide you through today's event. I'm gonna virtually introduce you, together with my wonderful colleagues, to our institution. Within the next approximately half hour, we are going to talk about the programs and courses we offer, what studying in Vienna is like, and for example, how to apply, and many more questions. But mainly we want you to get to know our tutors and learn more about their methods and approach. You have the opportunity to ask questions, so please make use of that and ask your questions in the chat. We are going to hold this event in English, but feel free to post your questions also in German. So, what is the Jam Music Lab? The Jam Music Lab is a private university for jazz and pop music located in Vienna. We offer internationally recognized bachelor's and master's programs in music and music education. We offer more than 70 artistic and practical main subjects. So basically all modern instruments such as piano, violin, voice, saxophone, trumpet, bass, drums, yeah, just to name a few. Also songwriting, of course, composition and recording, and improvisation. The faculty staff at the Jam Music Lab University consists of fantastic international instructors in the musical genres of jazz and pop, including Grammy Award-winning musicians and producers, as well as top-class international soloists and music educators. So for us, it's very important that all of them are still performing themselves, of course. We offer regular master classes with great people from all over the world. Just to name a few, we've had the guitarist James Burton, an icon of country and rock music, with us. The saxophonist Branford Marsalis, he held a masterclass at Jam Music Lab already. And right now our students are working with Peter Erskine, a great drummer. The atmosphere at Jam Music Lab is very intimate and friendly. We are a rather small institution with approximately 150 students at the moment. Yeah, so I think I hand on to our tutors and representatives of our departments, and I would like to ask them to give a short musical presentation and then introduce themselves and talk about their departments. Danny, may I ask you to start? As you want.
Well, I'll talk since I'm already sitting. My name is Danny Grissett. I'm teaching jazz piano at Jam Music Lab. And just to tell you a little something about lessons with me, I'm very passionate about this music that is known as jazz. I had the great fortune to study, perform with, record with some of the great masters of this music, and kind of be a part of the oral tradition, and because of that, I have a feeling of duty, if you will, to pass along those things that were taught to me, and I'm very thankful to those people for it and how they inspired me, and so I look to inspire my students in the same way and help them to realize their potential and to really have a joy about making this music, because I think that's really important, to really have joy in doing it, and it also helps you to be motivated to do the things that maybe are not necessarily the fun things to do, but all those things that you need to do to have a strong foundation to be able to play this music. So I'm just looking to inspire, and I hope that if you come study with me, you'll bring similar passion and energy. So I'll play something for you now.
Thank you so much, Danny. I'd like to ask Oliver now to present his department.
Hi, my name is Oliver. I'm the head of the department of the media music. I'm a composer since maybe 20 years now, and I will give you a quick overview about our department. Now it's possible to join our courses in as online or blended learning. That means it's more or less part-time. If you choose our studies, you have to decide between an artistic major, that means film music and games, or music production. In film music, you learn a lot, maybe about Hollywood harmonies, so to speak. What are the tricks of Danny Elfman, Hans Zimmer, John Williams? You learn to orchestrate records, a score. For instance, this year, a student of mine recorded a song here in this Erbach-Saal. It was very, very nice. The second part is music production. You learn everything about a studio, how record a track, how produce electronic music, create a pop song, trap, hip-hop, all those styles. And feel free to ask me anything. Unfortunately, I have nothing to show at this moment, but maybe you can ask me some questions now.
Thank you, Oliver. So Marion is going to sing for us. Yeah, sorry, as you wish. You can do the introduction first. Sorry, Marion. Yeah.
Okay, hello. My name is Marion Traun, and I feel very honored to sit here next to my wonderful colleagues. And yes, I'm the head of the vocal department at the Jam Music Lab University of the Faculty of Music. So I'm one of about 5 vocal teachers here at Jam Music Lab. And furthermore, I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm composing and arranging. I'm also playing the piano. So I'm doing a mix of different musical styles like pop, jazz, soul, and especially contemporary gospel music. So this is, if I had to choose one, that would be the one. And yeah, when you come and study with us at Jam Music Lab, you can choose between getting a vocal degree in music and a vocal degree in music education. So for both studies, you get an overall vocal education in performing, staging, of course, getting a solid vocal technique. And we always love, so me and my colleagues, the vocal colleagues, love to help our students to find their musical sound and, of course, their voice, and also find their musical path. And the students that come to us are, I think, from all around the world, and they're all very curious to dive deeper into the world of pop and jazz. And they are also very interested in discovering the Austrian scene. So this might also be a reason for you to come here. And yes, if students are interested, we also offer courses like songwriting, or even include that in the vocal classes, songwriting or composing. And yeah, throughout the year, we organize different little events like vocal nights or stage band nights or singer-songwriter nights. So for example, at the end of this week, we have our vocal night, which we were very happy to organize it, and it will take place, even if it's only online. We're quite happy that we could achieve that. So if you're interested to join in there, I'm sure there will be a link somewhere at the Jam Music Lab homepage. And yes, so me and my colleagues, we love to work with the students, and we all come from a different background, a musical background and also national background. And also, as I already said before, the students are coming from a different background, so we try to take everyone as he or she is and give them what they need from us. And it's also very important for us to take care not only of their technical issues, but also take care of their person and their hearts, because especially the voice is the human's most intimate instrument, so it's also very important for us to handle it with care and sensitivity. Thank you. Yeah, and now I'm gonna play one of my songs so that you get an impression of my music, and I'm very happy that Peter Gabis is playing with me on percussion.
When I'm lost and lonely, when my soul's so restless, I am searching for a place to lay down my head. When my heart is filled with sorrow and despair, you're the one who sees my state, and you set me free. I feel safe and warm in your arms. I can feel your breath that gives me life and helps me carry on. I hear your voice, so soft and tender, calling my name, giving me a precious promise that you'll always be there for me. I would not survive in this sea of troubles without my living in life belt. It's in you. You reign on my ways. I am longing for the love that just you can give. In your arms I feel safe and warm. In your arms I can feel your breath that gives me life and helps me carry on. I hear your voice, so soft and tender, calling my name, giving me a precious promise that you'll always be there for me. And all my friends around you know that you're the one I'm living for. I owe you all I have, and even if they don't to receive the blessing that you have for me, I want to be in your arms. I feel safe and warm in your arms. I can feel your breath that gives me life and helps me carry on. In your arms in your breath that gives me life and helps me carry on. I hear your voice so soft and tender, calling my name, giving me a precious promise that you'll always be there for me, that you'll always be there for me.
So much, Marion and Peter. May I ask you to introduce your department to our students, to our former students, Peter?
Yeah. My name is Peter Gabis. I'm from the drum department. My background is I'm a jazz drummer and played many years in the jazz scene all over the world, lived in New York and explored the world of jazz. And in the last 15 years, I kind of changed a little bit my musical direction. I opened it very much. I think it also has to do with the cultural situation. I'm very much into ethnic music. I'm very much into like Oriental music, into African music, Indian music. And so I think for me, it's very, since, I mean, I'm based in the jazz tradition and it's very important for me. But to open up, and I think jazz is in a change in the moment, especially also in a country like Vienna, where we have like different people from different nationalities here, and a very vibrant and exciting scene. I also teach rhythmics for jazz and popular music. I teach percussion, and for next year, I also teach like a research lab where I'm dealing with mindfulness in music, which is, I think, a very important thing, how mindfulness can help you in your musical performance and in your musical way. Because I think music is something which has a lot of mindfulness inside, but to train mindfulness can really help you to get a better musician and get spirit and soul into your music. And this is, I think, very important for me, having spirit and soul in the music, because without this, it's just notes. And filling music with spirit and soul, I think this is something very important for me. So I'm looking forward for everybody who wants to go this path with us at Jam Music Lab.
Thank you very much, Peter. Also for these words about your approach and the mindfulness, which I think is a really important issue. So let's open the Q&A section, actually. Thank you for all the questions that already arrived. I would like to start with a question which is directed to Peter, actually. Someone asks, I'm interested in rock drums. Do I need to perform jazz pieces at the audition?
No, you don't need to. You don't. I mean, we have let's say, kind of like a curriculum which includes a little bit of everything. Yeah? And on top of this, you're very free to do what you want to do in your musical direction. I mean, in our faculty, we have great drummers that have different styles, like my colleague Wolfgang Luckner, who is a fantastic drummer. He's playing all the TV shows in Austria, and he's like more the rock drummer. If you really want to get into rock drums, I would recommend that you go to Wolfgang, but it's not necessary to perform a jazz piece. Even I think a little bit it's good to explore also the field of jazz, since it's the root of everything. And it's not just about the style of playing jazz, it's more about the approach of improvisation, I think, which can taught through the jazz tradition. But for the audition, it's not necessary.
There is one basic question concerning the audition process, which fits perfectly to what you just said, because several people ask, like, what do they need to submit as a piece of music for the audition? First of all, for the jazz and pop section, it's other than we had before with AMP Vienna, where you need to submit different styles of different stylistic pieces. Here at the university, you can apply with 2 to 3 compositions of any type of music. So it's really totally up to you. There is no need to submit jazz standards or whatever. So just what is close to your heart, so that we can get an impression who you are in terms of your music. And the second step of the audition process is a personal conversation. And that's really important to us. It's not something you need to worry about. It's a really relaxed conversation about what your expectations are, which kind of music you are particularly interested in, what kind of music you are listening to, what kind of music you would like to perform. And of course, it's always possible to post like a request or a wish for a certain teacher, but during this personal conversation, our jury finds out who would be the perfect teacher for you. So which or who of our teachers fits your needs or your wishes best. And that's really important to us. Another question concerning the audition was addressed to... Oh, no, another basic question. Can I perform an original piece at the entrance audition? This is really, really welcome. So there is no need to. But of course, if you already do your own compositions, you're very welcome to submit one of those. It's possible to send in live performances, so recordings of live performances. That's our preferred version, actually, of listening to you play or sing. But you can also sing along to a playback, some playback music, or just do a solo piece, just you playing or singing. So it's totally up to you. It's just important for us to see where you stand and what you want to do here at Jam Music Lab. Concerning media music, the question was, what should I prepare for the audition? So I pass on this question to Oliver.
Okay. Honestly, it's up to you. Maybe send us a video, an audio-visual idea, a composition close to film music, close to a pop song, close to electro track. We cover all of these aspects in our courses. It would be fine to hear three tunes or see a video maybe you worked on. It would help a lot.
But just to let you know, it's not mandatory to submit someone else like playing your music, so it's okay if you just send the scores. But that's only true for media music. So for all the other courses, we need to hear you sing and play, or we want to. Yeah, another question for Oliver. I think you answered it already during your presentation, but Alexandra asks, will I learn how to compose and produce music for films or advertisements?
Of course. You learn a lot about composing techniques for film music. What I said before, harmony things like John Williams did, related to the late Romanticism, modern scoring techniques. You learn how to write a score, how to orchestrate. Maybe we did some, or will do some recordings here. Every aspect of film music, composition or production will be covered in our courses.
Thank you, Oliver. The next questions are addressed to Marion, actually. It's a question in 2 parts. I think you perfectly, wonderfully answered the first question. It's, can I learn how to accompany myself during singing? Is there a side piano course if I do a jazz vocal as a major subject? And the second one, maybe you can include that answer as well, is what vocal styles can I learn at Jam Music Lab?
Okay, well, there is a side subject for piano, so for singers, they can attend classes for piano, I think for about 2 years, as far as I know. So yes, you will learn how to accompany yourself and maybe learn the basics, how to read a jazz standard sheet and chord playing and progressions. And for example, in my lessons, as you heard, I also accompany myself. So if I see that one of my students is willing to learn it and likes to accompany he or herself, I try to include that in my lessons, and I tell them, okay, so now you're playing. So I also try to give them some tips here and some tools to work on that. That's for that question. And I forgot.
Vocal styles can one learn?
I think I answered it partly. Yes, as I already mentioned, we're different teachers, different tutors. We have different musical backgrounds. So one of us is more into jazz, the other one more into soul, next one into, I don't know, German, Austrian pop. And there are also some teachers, maybe also including me, who does different styles of music, because it's also where I come from. So I learned with different teachers, and I really appreciate that I learned that, and I also try to pass on that knowledge to my students, for example. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's answer some administrative questions, but I just want to say that our administrative team, so my colleagues and myself at the student services, you can contact us anytime via, for example, office@jammusiclab.com. You find all the information on our website, you find the times when to reach us, you find our phone numbers, because I think this is the perfect platform to talk to our teachers and not so much to our administrative personnel. But one question came, are there any scholarships for studying Bachelor at JAM? Yes, there are. First of all, I'd like to say that we differentiate between, like in terms of tuition fees, we differentiate between EU citizens and non-EU citizens. So there are different types of scholarships available for students. First of all, for students who just start studying with us, and what's the word for fortgeschritten in English? Sorry. Advanced, thank you so much. For advanced students, and there's also a differentiation between EU students and non-EU students. So you find all the information online, you find all the information on what to send us in order to apply for a scholarship, you find the deadlines and everything you need to know online. And another question was, I sum it up, so is the bachelor also possible in another form except a full-time study form? So that's actually totally up to you. Like, you can design your timetable, so to say, for your semester. So you, the one-on-one lessons with your major teacher, you can do at any time the both of you agree on. So that's totally up to you, and you can join the classes which fit your working schedule, so to say. But it's, of course, maybe then it lasts a bit longer to finish your studies, but it's totally up to you how you design your work week at our institution. Let's put it that way. A lot of feedback on your presentations, so amazing performance, what people write. Somebody asks, I learned only classical piano in China. Must I study jazz piano if I study in JAM? So I'm gonna answer this question maybe myself. Is that okay, Danny? Because that's like just a formal question. We had a live stream about the AMP before, so Academy of Music and Performing Arts Vienna. This is like the second institution below our roof, so to say, and there it is possible to study classical music as well as jazz and pop music, but at JAM University it's we only offer courses in jazz and pop music. So unfortunately, you cannot study a bachelor program for classical piano at JAM, but at AMP. Is there a German language request if I want to study music education? Actually, we do not require you to have German skills upon application, and it's also not necessary to give us a certificate of your German skills during your studies. So it's possible to start and finish your studies at JAM Music Lab without any German at all. Of course, we do recommend you to study German in the course of your studies, so besides your musical education here, simply because Austria is a German-speaking country, it's much nicer to understand people on the streets and to connect to people, but it's not necessary for the studies. And in terms of the music education, well, actually you are taught didactic, so it means that you are taught how to teach music, and this is not connected to the language, I would say. So they teach you how to teach music to like even little children, so it's for preliminary, or what is it called, elementary music education. So it's a difference, of course, if you teach music to children or grown-ups, but that's not depending on which language you use in the end for teaching music. Thanks to my colleague who is answering some of the questions in the chat already. So for the moment, I think yes, people asking us for appointments, of course. Please contact us anytime. Now it's allowed again to have personal conversations at the office. I think there's one more question concerning the preliminary studies. I mentioned that one before at the AMP webinar, that there is a preliminary course available, which is a one-year course where we focus on your artistic expression in the first hand. And somebody asks how many hours per day are given in the preliminary studies. And if the major is piano, where can I practice after class? So actually, this is something which we can talk about afterwards, like per email or on the phone. Of course, we offer rooms for practicing, so you just need to drop us a line and reserve a room for practicing. And I think my colleague knows that better, but we have a number of, I mean, it's like just keyboards for rent, actually. So if you have no other option to practice on a grand piano, you can choose to rent a keyboard from us, so a stage piano, actually. So there are no further questions, actually, from our listeners. Is there anything that any one of you wants to add? All said already? So then I would say thank you very much for sending in your questions. Thank you very much for taking part in today's event. The most important thing probably is that if you go to our website, which is jammusiclab.com, you will find this big blue button saying apply now. So we are waiting for your application. Whenever any questions arise, don't hesitate to drop us a line at office@jammusiclab.com. And I think all of you and myself, we are looking forward to your applications and to welcoming you in Vienna. Thank you very much.